Hello YouTube, my name is Rachel Mayo. Welcome to my channel and thank you for being here. I'm going to be discussing how Jupiter's forward movement is going to affect us personally. Jupiter went direct on the 12th of September, yesterday, at 17 degrees of Capricorn. Jupiter is going to be leaving the sign of Capricorn on the 19th of December. So Jupiter only has 3 months left to dish out all his blessings. Listen to the whole introduction to get a free bonus interpretation for Hellenistic astrology time period and Vedic astrology time period. These blessings are going to be in areas where we've been working hard at for the last few months. But Jupiter was unable to give us physical blessings because he was moving retrograde. Jupiter is debilitated in the sign of Capricorn, meaning this is one of the signs he doesn't like to be. He's exalted in the sign of Cancer, opposite Capricorn. So he doesn't like to be in the sign of Capricorn. On top of being in a house that he doesn't like, he had to be transiting it with the owner of the house and another fellow called Pluto. So Saturn is also transiting his own sign and hosting Pluto. These are also outer planets of the zodiac. So essentially, Jupiter had to follow whatever agenda Saturn was up to. Let's not forget that during most of his transit, Jupiter was conjunct the South Node. A South Node Jupiter conjunction will only allow Jupiter to pretty much review the past and internalize this energy, or let go of a lot of things that have not been working out. And Jupiter expands whatever it touches. So essentially, there was a lot of letting go in our Capricorn house. And let's remember that Capricorn is the highest point in the zodiac. It is the 10th house, the midheaven of the zodiac. This rules over our government officials, authority figures, our work. So you can see how this was all playing out. Most of us had to let go of our work. Also, Saturn and Pluto were involved in a lot of conflicts, and they still have an ongoing conflict with Mars. Saturn is square Mars and Jupiter is still there. Jupiter is turning direct at 17 degrees, while Pluto is around 22 degrees. Saturn, I believe, is around 25 degrees. So essentially, there is a wide degree of separation in orb. This gives Jupiter a chance to give out solid blessings without the interference of Pluto and Capricorn. However, he will be meeting up with Pluto at some point. On December 20th, he's going to meet up with Saturn, the great Jupiter-Saturn conjunction. So Jupiter has a bit of leeway to do what he wants. So expect blessings. Jupiter has been hanging out with Pluto and Saturn in the Capricorn house. So Jupiter has inside knowledge of what these two big shots are up to. That's the government and our authority figures. So his direct motion is going to reveal a lot of truth. So expect to see a lot of truth being revealed in the news. This particular Jupiter transit is a transit that we're not ever going to experience in our lifetime ever again. Meaning the conjunction of the South Node, Jupiter, Pluto, and Saturn all in the same house. We're not going to see this particular alignment in this lifetime. Jupiter takes 12 years to orbit the zodiac. So the last time Jupiter was at this particular point was in 2008. Can you remember what was happening in your life in 2008? This is the same area that Jupiter is here to bless. There are major differences though. In 2008, there was no conjunction of the South Node, Pluto, and Saturn. See, this is why you can't really compare to 2008. This particular transit of Jupiter has been quite epic and is going to bring really big changes in our life. Our life is going to move in a totally different direction, and Jupiter is not going to come back to this particular point for another 12 years, and Jupiter is not going to meet up with Saturn at this particular point for another 20 years. So you can just imagine how much change we're all going through. So let's evaluate the planet Jupiter. It is the biggest planet in the whole zodiac. It rules over the sign of Sagittarius, which is the 9th house, and Pisces, which is the 12th house of the zodiac. The ninth house rules over things like the justice system, our education system, foreign countries, our higher belief systems. The 12th house rules over our karmic past, our self-sabotaging habits, spirituality, our hidden enemies, what we do behind closed doors, our psychic abilities if we have any, and it also rules over the seas. We all have a Sagittarius house and a Pisces house in our natal birth chart. These are the areas where we're going to find blessings. The blessings are going to begin in the house that Jupiter is transiting, that is the house of Capricorn. So you will feel this energy first here, and then it's going to translate into the other two houses. So if you're a Sagittarius or a Pisces, this is your transit. This is your defining moment. Jupiter is your ruler, and he is definitely going to dish out blessings in your house. And he's definitely dishing out blessings to your ascendant. This goes for anybody that has their ascendant, sun or moon in those two signs of Sagittarius and Pisces. The other two fire signs, Leo and Aries, are also going to have a very positive experience with this direct motion, because Jupiter is forming a trine aspect to your sun, moon, or ascendant. So if you listen to the whole introduction, you get this bonus of who is going to be most affected by this direct motion of Jupiter. The biggest planet in the zodiac is stationary direct at this moment. He is very, very powerful. As a matter of fact, he's going to stay at 17 degrees for the rest of September. So essentially, if you were born on the 12th of September, a few days before or after, you're going to have this concentrated energy of Jupiter stationary direct in your solar return. This is a very positive aspect, and is going to bring blessings to the house in which he's stationary, that is of course Capricorn, and also the other houses that he rules, Sagittarius and Pisces. So you're in for a year of a lot of blessings. Use this energy wisely. In Vedic astrology, we have time periods called Mahadashas. If you're running a Jupiter Mahadasha, this is the point when your Jupiter gets activated. You're going to start feeling the promise in your natal chart, or the promise of your Mahadasha period. So be prepared to start receiving blessings. If your Loi is Jupiter, simply meaning the Lord of the year in simply meaning Jupiter is the Lord of the year. That is, in Hellenistic astrology, your Jupiter just got activated. So you're going to start seeing the results or the blessings that Jupiter promises for this time period. The other thing that makes Jupiter more powerful is that he is not conjunct the South Node or Ketu anymore. So this gives Jupiter freedom and room to give out his blessings without interference from the South Node, or without having to look back over the past or deal with past karma. So Jupiter is moving forward. He has several degrees free of interruption or conjunctions from Saturn. However, he is going to meet up with Pluto at some point, and he is going to meet up with Saturn when he enters the sign of Aquarius. So finally, now we have some hope. There is light at the end of the tunnel. Finally, Jupiter is moving direct without interference, and he is going to deliver his promise. If you're new to my channel and have not yet subscribed, please hit the subscribe button, which is right below. Please hit the subscribe button. It's right below this video, the red button. It's not a commitment. If you're new to my channel and have not yet subscribed, please hit the subscribe button, which is right below. Please hit the subscribe button. It's right below this video, the red button. It's not a commitment. Aries ascendant, sun or moon. Jupiter is going direct in your 10th house. Your 10th house is the highest point in the natural zodiac. It is the midheaven. This has to do with your standing in society, your job, authority figures, and the government. So if you've had any issues or any roadblocks in this area, expect to see changes and blessings. Jupiter also rules your 9th house and your 12th house. The 9th house is the house of law, our justice system, higher education, and our ideals and belief system. The 12th house rules over our karmic endings, self-sabotaging habits, spirituality. Foreign land is the house of losses. So if you've had any problems with the justice system or with your own higher belief system, you're going to find clarity in which direction to go or what to stop believing in. In the 12th house, Jupiter is going to help you end issues of past karma, issues with hidden enemies or self-sabotaging habits, or anything that's been going on behind the scenes that you really couldn't talk about. All those things, all those issues are going to be helped now, and they're going to start moving forward. This is a very positive transit for you, Aries. You are going to see a lot of positive developments in those 3 houses. Taurus, ascendant, sun or moon. Jupiter is currently transiting your 9th house. This is the area where you're going to begin to feel his blessings. Jupiter also rules your 8th house and your 11th house. Capricorn is your 9th house. This is where Jupiter is moving direct, and this is where he's going to begin dishing out his blessings. So if you've had any problems with the justice system, with foreign lands, or you've had doubts about your own higher belief system, religion, or doubts about education, everything is going to start clearing up now. You're going to start accomplishing what you wanted to in this area. Since Jupiter is also blessing your 8th house, if you've had any problems with intimate relationships or other people's money, things are going to start moving forward now. If you had problems getting a mortgage or a loan of some kind, Jupiter is going to make things move along quite smoothly at this time. Also, if you had challenges in the groups that you belong to or with your friends, Jupiter is going to start smoothing things over in this area also. So expect to have blessings in these 3 houses. Gemini, ascendant, sun or moon. Jupiter is currently transiting the sign of Capricorn, which is your 8th house. The 8th house has to do with other people's money and intimate relations or secrets. So if you've had any issues, and I'm sure you have, with all the challenges this house has been getting, the things are going to start lightening up now, and Jupiter is going to start bringing his promise to this area. So if you've been trying to acquire a loan or a mortgage of some kind and you've been meeting with resistance and blockages, things are going to ease up now. You're probably going to finally get this mortgage or loan. And if things have been a bit rough in the intimate area, things are going to start looking up there as well. Any challenges in your relationships, your marriage, or your partnerships, things are going to start looking up now. And for those people who've been trying to get married or wanting to get married, this is also the point that they may decide to actually finalize things and get married. Jupiter is also blessing your 10th house. So if things have not been working out quite as you expected in your area of your standing in society, your job, and with authority figures, Jupiter is going to start bringing blessings there too. This is a very positive transit for you, Gemini. Take advantage of the blessings. Cancer, ascendant, sun or moon. Jupiter is currently transiting your 7th house. That is your descendant, your relationship area, marriage area. And this area has gone through a lot this year with the transit of Saturn, the owner of this house, and Pluto and all the squares. You've been through a lot, Cancer. Well, now Jupiter is moving forward and he's going to start blessing this area in your chart. If you've been looking for those people, for people who are single and have been looking for a marriage partner or were already dating somebody, this is the point where they might solidify this relationship and get married or get serious or move in together. And for people who've been actually wanting to end their relationship, this is the point where you can separate amicably. Jupiter also rules your 6th house. That is the area of what you do every day, your daily routine, your health, your diet, and your co-workers, also known enemies. And if you had a challenging daily routine, Jupiter is going to help you organize your daily routine. For those people who had an ongoing conflict with an open enemy, this is the point where you're going to start smoothing things over with that enemy. And as far as your ninth house, the area of a legal system, this is the area of our justice system, higher education, and foreign lands, also our higher ideals. If you're having challenges with what you believe, your religion, or your higher ideals, this is the point where you're going to find proper guidance in which direction to go or take your whole entire life. This is a very powerful transit for you, Cancer. Now that you're getting proper guidance from your ninth house, you'll be able to resolve any conflicts that you have with your open enemy in the seventh house. That's if you are going through a divorce or a partnership breakup, or a known enemy if you're in court with a known enemy. So ascendant, sun, or moon. Jupiter is currently transiting your sixth house. This is the area where you're going to start feeling the blessings. So you were feeling blocked and unable to accomplish much in this area. This is the area of your work, your daily routine, and your health. It is also the house that rules over open enemies. So if you had an ongoing dispute with an open enemy, this is the point where you're going to start resolving this situation. And if you had an ongoing health issue, this is the point where you're going to discover what medication to take or what type of diet to take to resolve your health issues. Jupiter is also going to be blessing your fifth house. Your fifth house, the house of creativity, children, romance. This is a very happy house. And if things were not going quite your way, things are going to start moving forward. If you're having challenges in becoming pregnant, Jupiter is now here to open that door for you, and things will go much smoother in this area, and you'll probably achieve pregnancy before he leaves this area in December. That is, of course, if it's what you want and there are no medical challenges. He is also blessing your eighth house of deep intimacy. So you see how this all plays out. The fifth house of romance is going to be activated and live, and the eighth house of deep intimacy is also going to be receiving blessings. So intimacy with your partner is going to be much better. And if you're applied for a loan or a mortgage, Jupiter is probably going to get you your loan or mortgage before he leaves this area. Virgo ascendant, sun, or moon. Jupiter has been transiting the sign of Capricorn, which rules your fifth house. This is the area where you've been finding a lot of challenges with your creativity, your children, and your romance, and your romantic relationships. Or you've just been working really hard in this area. So this is where you're going to start feeling his blessings. So that creative project that was stuck is finally going to start moving along. And that romance and that romantic relationship that was met with a lot of conflicts and challenges, things are going to start smoothing out in that area. And if you've had challenges with your children, things are going to smooth out there too. Jupiter also rules over your fourth house. This is the area of a family, home, and mother, and our deep emotions. If you've had any challenges in this area, or feeling unworthy, or not seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, this is the area that's going to start being smoothed out now. And when we're happy in the fourth house, we can be happier outside to the world, because the fourth house is where we are naked. This is the house of our deep emotions. This is the house that we cannot hide who we are or how we feel. Now this area is being blessed. And since you're going to start feeling better, this is going to affect all your relationships with others, and in the 10th house. Libra ascendant, sun, or moon. Jupiter is currently transiting your fourth house. This is an angle house. This is the IC. This is our deepest part of our chart. This is where we're most naked and vulnerable. This is the area where Jupiter is going to start blessing. This is the area where Jupiter is going to start blessing you. So if you've had any problems in the home area with your mother, or with your own deep emotions, you're going to start feeling a whole lot better about yourself. Hence, your relationships with the people in your family are also going to start going a lot better. It's going to have a ripple effect. When you feel better about yourself, you treat others a whole lot better. That means your 10th house is also going to be affected positively. That is your work and your standing in society. So finally, there is some hope. There is light at the end of the tunnel. Jupiter also rules over your 3rd house and your 6th house. The 3rd house is the house of our immediate environment, the effort that we put into anything that we do, our siblings, our neighbors, and our learning ability. So if you've been having trouble or you've been meeting challenges with basic education, or you're trying to learn something and you're meeting challenges there, things are going to start moving a lot smoother in that area, and relationships with your siblings or your neighbors are also going to be improved. The 6th house is the area of our daily routine and what we do for work, our health, and our diet. It is also the house of our known enemies. So if you've had any conflicts with your co-workers or a known enemy, this is the time when things are going to start smoothing out. You could probably resolve this conflict at this time. Libra has been through a lot with this transit. They've been receiving squares to their ascendant sun or moon, and they've been receiving oppositions from Mars. So I'm sure this has not been easy, and any little bit of good news is quite helpful. Your ruler Venus is also in a trine aspect with Chiron. This is going to bring healing to many of your relationships. So take advantage of these positive transits while you can. Scorpio ascendant sun or moon. I had totally forgot about us. Well, Jupiter is going forward in our house of communication, siblings, neighbors, our immediate environment, basic education, writing, speaking. This is the house that's going to be met with blessings. So we are going to start feeling his forward movement in this area. So if you've had any challenges in those things that I mentioned, things are going to start smoothing over. Go ahead and reconcile with your siblings or your neighbors. Go ahead and start that YouTube channel that you've been trying to start, or go ahead and complete that story that you've been writing and put it out for publishing. Jupiter also rules your 2nd house of Sagittarius. So you are going to start feeling blessings there as well. If you've lost a source of income, this is the time that you could find another source of income. And if your self-esteem has suffered a bit, also rules the sign of Sagittarius, which is our 2nd house. So if you've lost a source of income, at this time, you may find another source of income. And if you've been feeling really low, your self-esteem has been suffering, Jupiter is going to start making you feel a lot better about yourself. And if you haven't been watching what you eat, this is the perfect time to start a diet. Jupiter also rules Pisces, which is our 5th house. This is the house of joy. This is the house that rules over our creative ability, our talents, sports, children, and our romance and our romantic relationships. So if you've been facing challenges with your creativity, or you've been facing challenges with your children or a romantic partner, well, be prepared, because things are going to start looking up now. Sagittarius, ascendant, sun, or moon. Jupiter is going direct in your ascendant. This is an angle. This is the most important part of our natal chart. This is you. This is your direction in life. This area also rules relationships because this is you reflecting on others, the descendant. Sagittarius, this is very positive news. Your ruling planet is finally moving forward. You can finally start to feel more confident. You can go on that diet that you've been planning to go on and have been unsuccessful at. At this point, anything that you begin is going to receive the blessing of Jupiter. He is your planet after all, and he is the biggest planet in the zodiac. Jupiter is currently transiting the sign of Capricorn, which is your second house. This rules over what we do to earn a living, our self-esteem, our values, what we put in our mouth, so what we say. If you felt restricted in your earning ability, or you're beginning to suffer from a low self-esteem, Jupiter is here to bless this area. Things are going to start smoothing out. If you had lost a source of income, it's most likely that before Jupiter leaves this area, you are going to have a new source of income, or your earning capability is going to be improved. You're also going to start feeling a whole lot better about yourself. Any area of your life, Jupiter is giving you the go-ahead. You have 3 months to use the power of your ruling planet to accomplish pretty much almost anything in your life. Take advantage of this transit, for it only comes around every 12 years. You're not going to see your ruling planet in your natal sign for another 12 years. So this is epic, Sagittarius. Make those initiations. Make those personal changes that you've been trying to make. Make those initiations in any area of your life. Jupiter also rules your natal 4th house. So if things have not been going quite well in your home area, Jupiter is going to start smoothing things out with your family. Jupiter is going to start smoothing things out with your family or your mother if you had problems in that area, or if you had a renovation project that was just obstructed and met a lot of conflict, where things are going to get out of your way at this time, and you'll be able to proceed with whatever it is that you were planning to do in this area. Capricorn ascendant, sun or moon. Well, Jupiter is transiting your ascendant. He is going forward in your ascendant. So the blessings are coming directly to you. And you have your ruling planet and Pluto in your ascendant. This makes you very powerful, Capricorn. The forward movement of Jupiter is the most important right now. So Jupiter moving forward in your ascendant, if you had anything that you were trying to accomplish, anything that you were trying to initiate, and you were meeting blockages or challenges, well, now Jupiter is moving forward. You will be able to accomplish those things that you've been working on. Jupiter is here to bless you in that area. Jupiter is here. Jupiter is going to be working with you, blessing you for the next 3 months. So if you're planning to go on a diet or change something on your body, this is the time for you to initiate those changes. Jupiter rules your 12th house and your 3rd house. If you had any issues going on with hidden enemies, self-sabotaging habits, or with foreign lands, or with your spirituality, at this point, Jupiter is bringing blessings to this area. And if you're trying to end things which were unhealthy and were unable to, well, Jupiter's forward movement is going to help you achieve those things. The 3rd house is the area of our siblings, our immediate environment, our learning ability, and the efforts that we put into anything. This is the area that Jupiter is also going to begin blessing. If you had any problems, say, with your siblings, your neighbor, or anything within your immediate environment, things are going to start looking up at this point, because Jupiter is here to make sure that this house is cleaned up and have things moving along. Jupiter is here for another 3 months without any challenges. So take advantage of this movement. So take advantage of Jupiter's forward movement and smooth things out with your siblings or your neighbors. And if you're planning to learn something, go ahead and start learning whatever it is. Could be a language or a new skill. Aquarius ascendant, sun or moon. Jupiter is currently transiting your 12th house. Capricorn rules your 12th house. Jupiter moving forward in a dark hidden area is very positive. So if you had any issues with hidden enemies, self-sabotaging habits, if you were facing an illness and were in the hospital, this is the time that you may leave the hospital, and this is also the time that you could end any past karma with your hidden enemies. And since the 12th house is the house of loss, you probably spent a lot of money. Well, this is the time when all this is going to come to an end. You have 3 months to settle things in this area. Jupiter rules over your 11th house and your 2nd house. So if you had any issues with the groups that you belong to, the organizations that you belong to, your friends or your uncle, this is the time things are going to start moving forward and people are going to be much more agreeable with you. If you have challenges with your earning ability or your self-esteem, since Jupiter also rules this area, Jupiter is going to start smoothing things over. If you had lost a source of income, Jupiter is going to help you find another source of income, or the money that you were lost is going to be recovered somehow. Jupiter is here to bless this area for the next 3 months. So make wise decisions and use this energy efficiently. Jupiter is not coming back to this area for another 12 years. So this is really big and he is going to be very powerful. Pisces ascendant, sun or moon. Jupiter is currently transiting your 11th house. This is the area where you're going to begin to feel the blessings of the big planet Jupiter. If you have had challenges in the groups that you belong to or the organizations that you work in or belong to, or with your friends or your uncle, this Jupiter is going to start smoothing things over in this area. If you've met challenges in achieving your hopes, dreams, and wishes, well, the door is now open. Jupiter is going to be able to give you blessings in that area. Your hopes, dreams, and wishes are going to come much closer and looking much more achievable at this point. Take advantage of this direct motion of Jupiter. Initiate contact with friends who you have not been in touch with. Try and smooth things over. Things are going to work out. Jupiter also rules over your 10th house and of course your first house, that is you, Pisces, your ascendant. The 10th house is the area of what we do for work, how we're seen in society, the government, and authority figures. So if you've had any problems or conflicts or challenges in these areas, things are going to start smoothing over. This is the time that you're going to find a resolution. Jupiter, after all, is your ruling planet, and he's not coming back to this area for another 12 years. So use this transit efficiently. Jupiter rules your ascendant, Pisces. So you are going to be very powerful. You have the power of Jupiter in your hands. The ascendant is the most important point in the zodiac because this is you. So if there's anything at all that you've been trying to change about your personality, perhaps you wanted to change your name, perhaps you've been failing at maintaining a diet, this is the time when you can restart this diet and this is the time that you can restart this diet, and this time you will be able to stick to it and achieve the result that you're working for. Jupiter is here to bless this area. In fact, Jupiter is known to expand people when he's transiting their ascendant. So I would advise you to go on a diet so that you can expand muscles and not fat.